So, Jim, we've got a photograph on the wall behind you of your daughter, Lynn. Did she ever do any modeling or anything?
No, but if you take a close look at the photo, you can see that she could have.
All right, let's get a little zoom in shot here. It is a nice shot. So we're going to save some stories about Lynn today, your firstborn, and I look forward to hearing the details. And I know it's hard to kind of pull up stuff all the time and remember everything, but I think you're going to be fine. Jim, how are you today?
I'm good.
You're good. You're outside today. We got a heat index close to 100.
Yeah.
How'd that
Didn't
feel?
bother me. I don't know why.
So today we're going to talk about, and we're going to kind of get into memories of family. So we're going to talk about Lynn Ellen Beatty. And she was born a day after your birthday. Is that right?
That is correct.
And that was in 1957.
Right. At that point, I was just beginning to be, well, not just beginning, but I was in my first year in the Army.
Oh, that was in the, okay, got it. So where was she born?
She was born in an Army barracks at Fort Huachuca, Arizona.
And was the birth fine? Was everything fine with the birth, health-wise?
The physician who delivered her was allegedly drunk. But everything went fine with Lynn.
How did you hear about his intoxication?
I had friends who were doctors in the same hospital.
Did that concern you at all? Did you find that out afterwards, I'm assuming?
I found it out afterwards.
Okay.
Probably more than a day afterwards. I don't recall how long, but it was soon afterwards.
And was she your oldest?
Yes.
She was your oldest. So that was your first-born child.
Yes.
So what was going through your head when you're like, okay, I'm in the Army and I'm, practicing law in the Army, and now I've got a brand new baby girl? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah? And Phyllis?
I was very pleased with.
And Phyllis was obviously excited to have a little girl.
Sure.
So as she grew and became a toddler, and she started to have a little bit of personality, how would you kind of describe her personality as, not so much an infant, but more as a toddler and kind of going into 5, 6, like just her younger years? How was her personality?
She always knew what she wanted to do.
Yeah? So what kind of things was she kind of exposed to on the Army base, being a baby?
Because of her on the Army base, I used to take her for a drive around. Although it was a fairly small base in terms of the number of personnel, it was a pretty big base in terms of acreage and I used to take her places, and she at a very young age knew precisely where she wanted to go. And if I missed a turn, she let me know it.
So she was leading the driving around the base.
She was.
So as she started to get into school, did she go to school on the base, or
No.
how was school done?
She was only 3 years old when I was released from the Army.
Okay. And then you guys moved?
Moved to Indianapolis.
Moved to Indianapolis. And what was the first house?
East 41st Street.
On East 41st Street.
Yeah.
And then how many years until Jay was born?
2.
2 years.
He was born before we came home, before we left the Army.
Gotcha. So he was born there as well.
He was born, his birthday was just couple of weeks ago. We came home in September. His birthday was in July. My sister came out to Arizona to help because Lynn and her mother and Jay and my sister came home on a train. I had things to take care of, and I drove home.
Did anything happen on the drive home? Did that go smooth?
Yeah, smooth. I stopped on the way home, visited friends that I knew from having been in the Army, who were then living in St. Louis. But other than that, there was no problems.
So you move into 41st Street and you started working at what at that point? Who were you with at that point when you moved to 41st Street?
I went to work for a law firm by the name of Bamberger and Feivelman.
Okay, so that's when you started with them.
Yeah.
So do you remember where she went to, like kindergarten and grade school?
Yeah.
Where did she go?
School 50.
Like 59 or something? Or
Yeah. 50 something, I'm not
okay,
positive. But it was just a couple blocks from us.
okay. So when she was in like grade school, like how would you describe her? You know, did she still have the same type of personality, or in what kind of activities maybe do you remember her liking to play or be involved with in grade school?
She did well. That's all I remember.
Was she into any kind of arts or anything growing up? Did she play sports young or get in with any music or arts or anything?
Not really.
Okay. So and then where did she go to high school?
She went to Broderville.
She went to that's right, Broderville High School.
Mm-hmm.
So do you happen to remember any of her friends that would come and hang out with her, her friends in high school that were always around or anything?
Lynn has always had a lot of friends.
A lot of friends. Do you remember anything that they got into around the house when they might have, I don't know, any kind of stories around the house or the neighborhood?
Well, I read it somewhat, but no, I don't. I was away
You're away.
a lot of the time.
Right. So what's some of the things that
I could feel guilty about it.
but you're working?
I was working, and after a couple of years, I got into politics. And took 10 years before I got out.
So how was her dynamic with Phyllis? What kind of similarities did you see in Lynn and Phyllis? How would you kind of compare that?
Smart.
What about the
Very smart.
very smart?
Yeah.
What about the humor side?
The what?
Humor.
Lynn's more sophisticated than Phyllis was.
Okay. Why do you say that? Explain that.
Well, she just was. She,
Any specific situations or
well, I'm trying to think of.
okay.
No.
So where did she end up going to college? Or did Lynn go to college?
Did she go?
Yeah.
IU,
She went to IU
locally.
at IUPUI. So do you know what she studied specifically? Was it general studies or?
General.
And I know after college, you know, obviously she got married after college and then she had her kids. And so when she was getting out of school, how long was it before she started the restaurant, Jazz Cooker, Monkey's Tail? How long ago was that?
Started that in '86.
In 86.
Mm-hmm.
So what was her motivation to want to get into opening a restaurant and a bar?
She was working in another bar on Keystone at a bowling alley, I believe. And she wanted to be the boss.
And she wanted to be the boss.
Yeah.
She also mentioned that she helped out on a lot of polls, doing polling.
I'm sure.
Do you happen to remember some situations you brought her in on for helping with polling? Or who maybe she helped, what campaign and might she worked on?
Well, I used to take her and Jay and we were doing polling, but other things that required dropping off pamphlets and things like that. Well, the kids have got a lot of energy.
Right.
It was nice to have them do the running, and they did.
She also mentioned Geraldine Farrar and being in a caravan for a campaign or something. What was that situation?
Geraldine.
Yeah, she was the first woman that
Yes,
ran.
I know who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the first woman to ever run for one of the top two offices. She ran for vice president.
So how was Lynn involved in that situation?
I don't remember.
She mentioned something about being on a caravan, maybe out to D.C. or something like that.
I didn't go.
You didn't go, but she went. You had her go.
I would think she and Phyllis would have gone.
Gotcha. So as you guys started, you said, in what year did the Jazz Cooker, when did that start? In 80, what was it?
86.
86. So did she immediately become like the manager in charge, running everybody?
Yeah, it was hers.
So what was
I helped with the financing of it, but it was her deal. She had two partners at the beginning.
you know how they picked the theme of it? How they picked the New Orleans theme? Or why they picked the New Orleans theme?
Well, she had been down there and she liked it the way, you know.
So what aspects of getting it started did you continually help with after helping with finance?
I ate food there. At the beginning, I went there quite a bit, just as a customer.
So what type of food did you like there? What were some of your favorite things there to eat?
It was a New Orleans type place. I like red beans and rice, but I don't like any fish.
What about the gumbo?
Say what?
Gumbo.
I'm a little bit, I can go without that.
How did you
I like, you know, they had good steaks. They had red beans and rice. I always got the same thing.
So how did you guys choose that location? Or how did that location
She did,
come up?
I didn't.
Do you know the history of that building before it was acquired?
No.
It kind of looks like an old plantation house.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
She also mentioned something out about a station wagon and bumper stickers. There was a lot of political stickers on the station wagon, and that LBJ were the initials of the kids, but they used to think that if they put those on, do you remember what I'm referencing?
LBJ ran for president in '64.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least a couple of years before the jazz cooker.
Right. But she had mentioned that there was a lot of bumper stickers on a station wagon. Was it your station wagon that there were?
I can't imagine it. She could have put them on any other place.
So what was
I
her...
had a station wagon at that time.
Okay. So when she was like in grade school and high school, what was her dynamic with Jay? How did they interact?
Good.
Yeah? Do you remember anything that they would always kind of do together? Or?
No.
Okay. So as she started the tale and she started running that, were there other, who were the other partners that were involved that she brought in?
I think they were people she had worked with at the bowling alley.
Was that Woodland Bowl?
Pardon?
Was it Woodland Bowl?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, Woodland Bowl.
Yeah.
Is she a good bowler?
I don't think she bowled.
Okay.
She served drinks.
Right. She was bartending at the bowling alley. Gotcha. So there's numerous places that you said that Phyllis would take the kids on different vacations, and she mentioned McCormick's Creek and French Lick and Turkey Run and also the Ozarks. So you didn't go on those situations? What were some of the younger vacations that you remember taking both kids and taking Lynn?
I'll be 94 next month.
Yep.
And I just, some things have just faded. And we went a number of places, but in '65, I remember, because all of us went to California to go to Disney World.
Yeah, you mentioned the Watts riots.
Yeah. We flew to Los Angeles, landed on August 10th. It's easier to remember a riot than it is to remember getting a milkshake.
About how old were the kids?
Well, she was 8, he was 6. Leanne was 3.
So that might have been a little nerve-wracking. I remember you telling me trying to get them there and...
Well, we were actually, we had a good time. And we flew to Los Angeles, as I said. Then we stayed overnight and then flew to San Francisco, where Phyllis had good friends that had been in the same sorority that she had been in. We visited with them. Then we rented a car and drove back to Los Angeles. Drove into town with the National Guard. I remember that. And we got a motel room at the airport. And then I remember we went and visited with the doctor who had delivered Jay. He was not an obstetrician. He was a surgeon. But in the Army, you do what you're capable of. Anyway, he delivered him and everything went fine. And he was an interesting guy. He had been Judy Garland's surgeon and a number of other well-known Hollywood personalities he had operated on. He and I used to play paddleball in the Army together.
Okay.
He was a good guy. He had 3 or 4 kids of his own.
So, kind of flipping back to the tail, the monkey's tail and the jazz cooker, did you have some of your political meetings there with your political friends?
We did, but that was later,
That was later?
quite a bit later. I can't recall the dates.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've had the gumbo and I actually paid her $100 for a gallon of gumbo one time.
Pardon?
I paid Lynn $100 for the gallon of gumbo one time about 10 years ago. She was still making it when it was still open. I guess it's special. It's my favorite roux. So she also mentioned Atlantic City. Did you happen to go with them, Phyllis and her, the kids, to Atlantic City?
Yeah. For some reason, I would have forgotten about that altogether, and something went wrong, but I can't remember what it was.
Israel. I know you'd mentioned Israel and you took how old were they when you guys went to Israel? They in high school or after?
Well, it was 72,
Okay.
I believe.
So why'd you go to Israel? Why'd you choose to take the kids to Israel? Was it to see the history, religious history?
It was for that. I was interested in their government development, which I'm terribly disappointed with now. But then I thought they were really onto something, and Phyllis wanted. I knew she would like to go because of her. She was very religious. I was not, but she was, and so we went for her interest in religion, and while there, went to all the main religious sites. I was in the law firm of Bamberger and Feivelman, which was almost all lawyers, or were mostly Jewish. There were a couple others besides me who were not. And because of that, we had a lot of good connections here. And they had at that time, I don't know, a system of guides, and they were only available to people who had a connection somewhere or other. And one of the partners in the firm lined up a guide for us. And these guides are not people that you find on a street corner in Tel Aviv. They've really got the basic education of a PhD. The guy we had, his name was Levy. Very smart very well educated, took us everywhere in Israel.
Did anything happen on the trip that, like situations that kind of stand out besides just touring around?
No, we were quite lucky. Nothing. We got up early every day and came back late every evening. For 14 days, or nearly that, we just traveled in Israel from Lebanon on the north to Gaza Strip on the south, and everything in between.
So what's your view of what's going on there right now?
I'm very disappointed with the leadership of Israel right now. I think it's almost as bad as the United States.
I understand that. I heard a rumor that at the base of Kessler and the river, White River in Kessler, there's a giant estate on the south end of Kessler that's the beginning of Sunset Lane area. And this is from a gentleman that worked on the house for the owner, that back in the day, that documents to help create the country of Israel, and it was owned by the Lilies or something. Did you ever hear anything about paper being signed in Indianapolis that had to do with Israel's forming back? Did you ever hear anything about that back in the day?
Excuse me. No.
Okay. All right. She also mentioned Longboat Key and going down to Longboat Key, which you've mentioned that as well. So what's some of the memories of going with the kids and down to Longboat Key or in the
Well,
20s?
Longboat Key, I bought a condo there. It's a barrier island off the west coast at Sarasota, and bought it in '86. And we've gone there, and the kids have gone there every year since.
Did you have any memories of Lynn playing on the beach, making sandcastles or anything specific down there?
By '86, she was a little too old for that.
A little too old for that.
But
right.
we had gone there before. My parents lived down there, not on Longboat Key, but in a nearby community called Ellington, which it was close by. I'd gone there many times also.
So what would the kids do when they were down there?
There's a swimming pool.
Mm-hmm. And then what about some of the areas on the island that you would go to, or some of the restaurants? Like, where are some of the places you would go besides staying at the house?
We used to go to the place called the Gulf Cafe. Still exists, but different ownership. We ate there. If we went out, we ate there most of the time. And it's actually on an island north of
Longboat?
Longboat, yeah. It's on an island called Anna Marie. Generally, we're not there for very long, maybe a week.
Okay.
And
So she also mentioned that you were in the room when her daughter Claire was born.
that's true.
As her grandkids grew, I know that she was married to John, or as her children grew, your grandkids. How did you kind of perceive her? How she handled the kids? How was she as a mother? How was Lynn as a mom?
Good.
Yep. So as she grew into an adult, there's obviously some other stories and things that have happened. What's one that you just kind of like to mention?
Caught her foot.
She caught her foot?
In the escalator in the St. Louis airport and ripped the shoe off It didn't hurt her. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember any other situations that she got hurt or anything over the years, that falling on a bike or any kind of situations you guys had to be there for?
Nothing wasn't ordinary. That was I remember because it was not ordinary.
Right.
Things that are ordinary simply escape me at this point. I mean,
So where are some places that, as you've been adults, that you've been able to travel together?
mostly Florida.
Mostly Florida? Any other spots with her kids or anything?
We've never had a strong wind, even while in Florida.
So how would you describe her as running the monkey's tail and being a businesswoman?
Good, especially decent. That pretty much took up her life, her time, her.
And that was
From the time she started that until she started taking care of me.
so it opened in '86 and then basically closed in 2020. Wasn't that when it right before COVID?
That sounds right.
Yeah, around that time.
Right.
I remember going and eating there when I was a kid at the Jazz Cooker. It was good.
Yeah.
So, as far as things that you've been able to kind of discuss with her, politics-wise or world-wise, what type of things would you focus in conversation about when you would just be sitting and talking with Lynn as she's an adult?
Day-to-day stuff.
Day to day?
That's all.
How are her political views compared to yours?
Almost identical, I would say. She might express them a little more vigorously than I would, but she's 25 years younger.
Right.
Makes a difference.
Do you remember any situations with her and Andy Jacobs, or her and Jay and Andy, like with the families being around each other?
No, we never did that.
No?
I mean, they knew each other, but we didn't travel with Andy and his family. And his family kept changing anyway, because he got married 3 different times over the course of this time period that we're talking about. By the time, well, I still see his ex-wife every, not every Saturday, but I have a group of 4 or 5 people that have been active in Democratic politics that come here virtually every Saturday to make me feel good.
Right. So did Lynn ever go to your meetings when you had them over the years? Did she ever attend the
No.
meetings? No? So and she lives just north of Kessler on Guilford. And she has a very unique house. She has a lot of really cool designs and antique decor.
She's pretty artistic.
Yeah, what are some of the things about her character you think that really stand out about her?
She's very principled. She's very efficient. Taking care of her daughter, which she does, even though she lives in Chicago, and me. There's a crew that sort of takes care of me. And she's the crew chief.
She's the crew chief.
Yeah. And everybody knows that.
Right. She's,
There's no ambiguity about it.
I saw a picture of you getting married in her kitchen. It's a photograph of you and Phyllis. It's in black and white. She said she also has a lot of pictures and things. Is there anything that you remember that's a unique thing in her house that you think is a really cool artistic piece or a cool design, or just any aspects of her house that you think it's really unique to Lynn?
I haven't been over there for a couple of years.
Okay.
It's different than, but she came in here, every picture that's on the walls she put up.
So she's definitely into the decorating.
Pardon?
Definitely into the decorating.
She is. And if she takes time, she's good at it.
So what kind of advice would you want her to remember and you want to give her as far as how she's lived and how she will continue to live and just her life? What kind of advice would you like to give?
She's smart enough.
She's smart enough?
She doesn't need my advice.
Doesn't need your advice.
No.
All right, so this is...
Smart enough and practical and decent.
So if you weren't 94 and you were younger and you had all of your physical attributes and she was fine too, obviously she is, but where would you take her on the planet and what experience would you want to have her experience with you? Kind of like a bucket list.
Pardon?
A bucket list. If you could take Lynn anywhere on the planet and have her experience something, where would it be, and what do you think would be a great thing to do with her?
I don't know. Maybe Hawaii.
Hawaii?
I don't think she's been there. If I could be wrong about that, because she doesn't check in every hour with me.
Sure.
She could have been there, but I don't think so. And I've been there.
So you think she'd enjoy it?
Yeah. Take a weird person not to enjoy Hawaii.
It would take a weird person. It would totally.
Yeah. Hawaii is just different.
I agree. I've enjoyed some time there myself.
I still love you, and I always will.